website. The meeting is now called to order. It is February 18th, 2026, and the time is 6:33 p.m. Our mission is to provide a safe and caring climate and culture in which we engage, inspire, educate, prepare, and empower all learners in partnership with their surrounding community to be successful in today's and tomorrow's society. Heather, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Thank you. And then when you're ready, can you please call roll?
The following board members are present at the District Administration Office. Gina Acevedo.
Here.
Scott Andresen.
Here.
Natalie Copeland.
Here.
Zach Dorholt. Diana Fenton.
Here.
Shannon Hawes.
Here.
Heather Weems. Here. The following cabinet members and staff are present at the District Administration Office. Superintendent Dr. Lori Putnam, Assistant Superintendent of E5 Learning Nikki Hansen, Executive Director of Community Education and Community Partnerships Shannon Avenson, Executive Director of Finance and Business Services Amy Scalarud, Executive Director of Innovation and Technology Services Katie Herbold, Executive Director of Special Education, Danny Mayer, Media Technicians, Paul Novak and Gordy Scott, and the custodian on site is Emerson Beamer.
Thank you. Then I need a motion to approve tonight's Board of Education meeting agenda.
So move.
I have a motion by Scott, a second by Natalie. Heather, can you call vote on that?
Zach Dorholt. Diana Fenton.
Yes.
Shannon Hawes.
Yes.
Heather Weems, yes. Gina Acevedo.
Yes.
Scott Andresen.
Yes.
Natalie Copeland.
Yes.
Okay, then we have the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of non-controversial items the board adopts routinely without debate. Any single member may remove an item from the consent agenda by requesting removal at the time the consent agenda is moved for adoption. On tonight's consent agenda, item A, approval of board minutes from January 5th, 2026, January 7th, 2026, and January 21st, 2026. Item B, approval of bills and other financial transactions in the grand total amount of $2,595,934.77. Item C, approval of personnel staff changes. Item D, acceptance of grant awards and donations. Item E, bid award to Lahi Parking Lot Improvements. Item F, bid award multi-purpose athletic facility bid package 2. And item G, joint purchasing contract awards multi-purpose athletic facility turf. I have one request from Natalie to remove item D. Does anybody else would like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve items A through G except for removing item D.
So move.
Okay, I have a motion by Scott and a second by Diana. Heather, can you call vote on that?
Scott Andresen.
Yes.
Zach Dorholt. Shannon Hawes.
Yes.
Gina Acevedo. Natalie Copeland.
Yes.
Diana Fenton.
Yes.
Heather Weems, yes.
Okay, then we just have item D. Natalie is recusing herself from the vote. So I'm looking for a motion to approve item D.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Diana, a second by Scott. Heather, can you call vote for everybody except for Natalie?
Shannon Hawes.
Yes.
Zach Dorholt. Scott Andresen.
Yes.
Natalie Copeland. Oh, sorry. Gina Acevedo. Heather Weems, yes. Diana Fenton.
Okay, moving on to information items tonight. First up, we have the early childhood update, welcoming Kate Flynn, Director of Early Childhood, and Barika Davis, Early Childhood Administrative Dean, joining Nikki Hansen, Assistant Superintendent of E5 Learning. Welcome, Kate and Barika.
Good evening, Superintendent Pudge. Did I turn it off again? Test, test. Test, test.
It's on for a second.
test.
Try that one, Nikki.
Amanda, okay, thanks. Good evening, Superintendent Putnam, Chair Hawes, and the members of the board. I'm Kate Flynn. I am the Director of Early Childhood Interim. And my colleague next to me is Assistant Dean Barika Davis. We're really excited to be here for an early childhood update. It's been a year, so I hope we have some good things to share. I think we do. If you'll navigate me, we'll go to the first slide. Our main goal for early childhood is to really have that prepare every child, I would say from birth to 4. We'll talk about ECFE and some of our early childhood programs. But that is our goal, that when our children enter that kindergarten, that they're successful. But we really do that through high quality and inclusive and play-based learning. Next slide, please.
Under early childhood, we have ECFE, preschool, and our early childhood screening. ECFE is kind of that front door, that first experience where students are coming in with their caregiver, and they go to our early childhood center at Quarry View. And then for preschool, we have 3's preschool, 4's preschool, and then our Young 3 program, which is for our students who have been on individualized family service plans. And then their birthday is after September 1st, and we start to get them integrated into our system because we know they might need additional support and get them used to those classrooms. So that way, when the September rolls back around, they're ready for our 3-year-old program. And then for our early childhood screening, it is mandatory through the state of Minnesota that we try to screen all of our kiddos and get those developmental markers, and we do a little quick health screener as well to see if they need any additional supports, because we know early intervention is key for our young learners.
Another part of early childhood program that you may not be aware of, but we have an evaluation team. We have 6 evaluators on site at Quarry View, but really 9, including our psychologist. But we have a unique group of people called Birth to 3, who are special education, who do home visit for all of our children from birth to 3, 2.9. And if those families visits cannot happen in the home, then we service these families at Quarry View. So that's part of our comprehensive early childhood program. We want to talk a little bit about our preschool, just so you get a sense of that, and we'll talk a little bit more about our wait list and how many we have at this current time. But our preschool has a real high standard of excellence. We have to be a parent aware. It can be anywhere from 1 to 4, 4 being the highest. So all of our preschools are 4-star parent aware. I'm proud of that. We should be proud of that. We have licensed educators, so all of our staff is licensed. Our paraeducators are highly qualified. And we really have a holistic curriculum. I invite you out to come see us because we really work all of our curriculum, our instruction through that play-based holistic model. And we have some very unique inclusion classrooms. So my preschools run from just classrooms of general education, but our inclusion are having both special education children and general education. And also at Quarry View, we just have some self-contained classrooms. So we have really a rainbow of beautiful classrooms. So I hope you'll join me sometime and come out and see what we're doing.
Those preschool classrooms are held at all of our elementary sites. So in our north locations, we have Madison, Kennedy, and Lincoln. In our south locations, we have Oak Hill, Clearview, and Telahi. And then our west location would be that Westwood, Discovery, and then our 3's program and our self-contained non-inclusive classrooms are at Quarry View Education Center. And that typically houses our 3-year-old program.
And just to kind of talk about early detection and support, right at Quarry View, we do our early childhood screening. So we have families that are coming in both on Tuesdays and Friday mornings, and we screen starting at that screening age of 3.5. 100% of our kindergarten need to be screened as part of our Minnesota Department of Ed, and that's free for our families. So we just wanted to remind you and kind of clarify our early screening at Quarry View.
So that first experience that we typically have in early childhood is with ECFE. And I think it's really that gateway, because when you have a baby, unfortunately, it does Your baby does not come with a manual. And what our ECFE do so beautifully is they hold that relationship with the parent and the child, and they walk with you on that journey. And it's strengthening those parent skills, giving you some of that confidence. Today we had our early childhood advisory committee, and one of the parents, she shared so beautifully, she said, sometimes I felt like I was alone. Like, is my baby the only one crying all day? And then just to get into that space with other families and have a youth educator who's licensed and a parent educator that helps guide you on that journey to say, hey, we all have those struggles and here's some tools and strategies. They do such a beautiful job. So if you have any littles and you want to have the opportunity to just really dive deep into how someone can hold that relationship so beautifully and help you guide you on that journey, our ECFE program is top tier. Connects families to community resources, promotes early literacy and social skills, and really creates that supportive community network. Some of our families, they start in one class and then you see them as they transition and their kids get older. They've built relationships with one another. They have those conversations, again, because if you don't know what you don't know, right?
And I think that's what's so empowering about ECFE is we offer both day and evening classes, but we're also offering free to the community some ECFE on those Saturdays. So coming up Saturday is our Run and Read, where we invite all families from the community to come out for free, and they'll experience birth to 5, and we'll do some movement, we'll do some story time, we'll do some literacy, and we'll do some snack, and then we'll let them take a free book home. So it's we average about having anywhere from 200 to 300 people at those events, so it's popular. And looking ahead, that's kind of our focus for this year is we just kind of are really looking at just our maintaining that access and quality of our programming. We're going to talk a little bit about how do we reduce the wait lists that are happening for our 742 families. And we have some deep partnerships with United Way and Thrive. I know I'm missing somebody. Milestones. So we continue kind of that work for this community and this early childhood work that we do.
So currently in our preschool, we have 460 students in our 4-day-a-week forest program. In our threes program, we have 275 students, and those students come 2 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. And then again, like I said before, we have a young threes program, and those are for our students who are on that individualized family service plans, and they maybe had a birth to 3 teacher, and then their birthday came after September, and then it gets them in that introduction into the classroom, and those students will transition into our threes programming. In total, 3 serve is 307 students because most of our students come to Quarry View, but we do have some students who go to Clearview and then go to Kennedy. And so they start their journey off in their elementary building and they continue that journey. So total, we have 767 students that we've served in early childhood, just in our preschool program, not our ECFE, including our ECFE.
And then we'll talk a little bit about our preschool. This is my 3rd year, and we've always have been looking at a wait list. And this year we tried to get very creative because we have families. Right now we have 50 students, families, that did not get into our 4-year-old program. We have 34 3-year-old families that did not get into our preschool. And so one of the solutions that we wanted to pilot this year is called a Friday preschool experience. So on our children come Monday through Thursday. We do have some teachers that work Friday, and this year we use them really purposefully to try to reduce that wait list. Our solution for 26-27, we found we have one Friday PK for classroom. And because our children come Monday through Thursday in our 4-year-old program, we were calling and calling on our wait list for these 50 families, and they weren't, they wanted to stay on the wait list for that 4-day experience. I couldn't get them to move to a 1-day. But our 3s only come 2 days a week. So when we were calling those families, that seems pretty reasonable, doesn't it? I mean, my child could come 2 days, but if I could get 1 day, that would be awesome. So next year, we're pivoting to doing all 3s to reduce that wait list completely because of the high interest. So next year, these teachers who are currently teaching now in our Friday pilot, PK4 and PK3, will move to all PK3s, and we'll keep them on site so they can be in their community. So we'll have a PK3s on a Friday experience at Clearview, at Kennedy, at Madison, Quarry View, and then Westwood. And we're hoping then we can have 44 students, which means that we should be able to eliminate any threes family having to be on the wait list, and with some additional spots as well. Questions?
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Heather?
Thank you. Thank you for your work and your presentation. I have a couple of questions. The first is, how do parents get connected to ECFE? How do they know about it? And are there referrals through the community or that sort of thing?
Our ECFE program, so we do have, besides social media and all the good things that we do in School Messenger, we do have an ECFE teacher, Carrie Yuso, who's connected to our Birth to 3 teachers who do a lot of home visiting, so that we get a lot of outreach there. We also do a lot of outreach with our ECFE team, so they're attending registration nights, kindergarten enrollments, they're at the COP house, they're going out into their baby expos, Caribous, wherever they can go. But really, that's kind of that, how their advertising is through that. So besides our catalog that goes to over 7,000 families, and social media, sending home things with flyers with our preschoolers, right, in the backpacks. But that's really how they got connected. But we just met with advisory because it is such a program that is word of mouth, that we had our committee of 15 people sitting around today and saying, how can we do it better? Because we're all here, and as much as we tell people we're here, so we're right now working on a marketing plan of how do we get our ECFE program, which I think is premier. I think it's, I really am proud of it, and I'm proud of those teachers, but it's an amazing program, and I would love you to stop out and see it one time too.
I appreciate that, and I will make note of that. And just like, do you do anything with Centricare or with medical folks? And I don't know whether there's nurse midwives or doulas or things like that can help, or if you're already taking advantage of that.
You want to talk about the CAN network? That's a great one.
So through United Way, we have the Child Care Action Network, who we collaborate with, and they work with our local child care providers, right? Because we know that though we have our 3s and 4s in our building, they have to go, if your parents are working 0 to 3, they're probably in a child care setting. And so we have intentional conversations around what does that look like, feel like, sound like, how do we get those families in, and then we give some of those flyers out to those families as well. What gets to be a little bit tricky, right? We had a partnership at Centricare prior to COVID, but then COVID happened, right? And things were changing and shifting and moving. And prior to that, our ECFE teachers went into those buildings right after the parents would give their birth to their babies and kind of support them along that journey, right? And then say, hey, let's pivot into an ECFE class. Since COVID, Centricare is amazing, and they decided to completely do that in-house, right? And so what we do now intentionally is working with, Centricare has what is that called? The first baby, thank you.
Yeah.
The Baby Cafe. And so we do that partnership with them, and then we talk about when some of those parents have some of those struggles, we say, if you're in our ECFE class, we kind of guide you through that work. But we are always looking to strategize, and we've talked about maybe parent workshops, right? Because I don't think infancy is one of those foundational skills, foundation where it starts, right, 0 to 5. But we know parents have struggles beyond that, right? And so we talked about what if we did some parent workshops and things like that. It's something that we're actively thinking about.
I appreciate it. And again, I think you captured it perfectly when you said that they don't come with instructions when you have when you have babies. There's no instruction book that goes along with it. So thank you for that. My second question is, I love that you talk about just play and learning through play, because I really think, I mean, that and hearing books. I think those are two primary ways of learning, and tactile and those sorts of things. Well, maybe this turns into a couple of questions. One, do they get outside time when they're in threes and fours? And then my second question is, are they exposed, and if so, how much, to digital screens, or do you really try and avoid any sort of digital screens at that age, knowing that we keep learning more and more about neural networks and everything like that?
We avoid digital screens, but I did go to a conference last year where we have to embrace it in the sense we have to teach parents how to use it. So we are a digital-free zone, but we also know in those homes that's happening. So I had a really good speaker when I raised my hand and said, absolutely not. The brain birthed the five and developmentally. And she said, I'm going to challenge you. It's not about what you're doing in your workplace. It's about what are we doing with parents, who it is a tool, and they are digital natives, these young people raising children today. So we're being very responsible. I was going to look at Katie Herbold. You'd be really proud we're being really responsible. Our tech gal. So no, we don't. We're digital free. Even when you go to an ECFE classroom, we ask that you put your phone outside to try, just kind of to train these new parents to say, let's be present. Presence is very important. And your other question, Heather, was what? Outside. We all do outside. We have to. We're lucky to have playgrounds attached to all of our early childhood. I mean, our elementaries as well. So outdoor play is really important. So that's part of their world. And then we just have got a grant last year from our Avon folks for a nature, Timber Nook nature outside that we're trying to grow. I still haven't visited with Assistant Superintendent Hanson about how that might grow for other elementaries, but it's certainly happening at Quarry View and Westwood, where we're bringing outside nature experience and been trained by Timber Nooks. So that's another piece. And now the ECFE will offer one in April and May as part of there, because we want those families to experience that. But yeah, play and outdoor is really important. And we're even talking about now how to bring instruction of out into the playground. How do we do that to bring instruction and learning and still be out there? Thank you. Good questions.
A while ago, we bought some property near Westwood, and I'm glad to see it's finally getting used.
Yeah.
Yay. We owned that for a while. Tell me about screening. What are you screening for?
So the screening typically is any developmental indicators that you may fall behind on. So concept development skills, gross motor skills, articulation, speech. When you go to the doctor, they have these things called developmental milestones, right? For example, when you have an infant, there's mirror neurons in the body, and when you look this way, that infant will look with you, right? The screening process kind of sees at when a kid is 3 years old, it says, okay, your kiddo should be having around 300 words. They should be able to take a bean bag and throw it towards an object. They should be able to have some of these sounds. Now, if that student doesn't have that, right, the screening says, okay, out of 100%, your kiddo is around 70%. It really provides the school with an opportunity to provide early intervention services, because we know if we start early, then we can close that gap before they get to kindergarten or into K-12.
Are you screening for special education also then?
So you're screening for any developmental delays, right? So it may not necessarily be that those kiddos need special education services, but when they come in and get screened, we can say, hey, have you heard about our ECFE program, right? And then they come into our building and have an opportunity to build up some of those skills that they may not, that they may be missing in their home environment, right? Play, intentional play, having some of those opportunities to engage with social interaction with peers, some of those opportunities to enhance their concept development skills, maybe doing some of those puzzles, building with towers, reading some of those books that she talked about earlier, right? Increasing that vocabulary and those language. So it doesn't necessarily mean for special education. It really means to see, is your kiddo on track developmentally? And if they are not, how can we support them early so that way that gap doesn't increase?
Thank you. Oh, I'm done. Thank you.
We've been talking a long time about this wait list, and I think those numbers are exciting, right? Like, they used to be a lot more over the 8 years I've been on this board. So can you kind of give us a recent history of, like, here's maybe what it was 3 years ago, and here's how we've gotten it down? I know we've worked with some community partners on that, but hearing that we're going to be able to get all threes in the one day is really exciting. So thanks for pivoting on that.
I think our wait lists have always been high. You're going to make me think, Natalie. I am getting a little bit older now.
You can do it.
It's 50 right about now. So I would say 3 years ago, we were probably, I would say we're probably close to,
That's what I thought. Yeah.
is that for the entire preschool though, you think? Okay.
Yeah.
And we did add additional teachers over the years. So that has been helpful. We opened a couple spaces, so that helped the wait list. But I really think using these teachers that have been doing other assignments over the years and now to target them in this preschool work, what a wonderful way to have families to be able to have that experience. And I'm really noticing also colleagues of mine, principals, who are saying, gosh, Kate, we see 5-year-olds that haven't had the 742 preschool experience, and it's so different, and we're so grateful. That's not for me. It's just we're so grateful for this opportunity because our children, 776 of these children, I think was the number, are coming in with a great school experience and ready. So I'm very proud of 742 because if you look at other districts, I meet with regional people and they'll say, Kate, how many early ECFE teachers do you have? And I say 9. And they go, oh, we only have 1.5. How many preschool, classrooms do you have? I have 19. Oh, we have 4. So, I mean, how proud you should be to have this for this community. And we're seeing the benefits, and we're tracking those benefits with Nikki Hansen just over the last 2 years to see if our children have a preschool experience, and now they're hitting 2nd grade and 3rd grade. What is that meaning for us? So it's been some great data. We can share that next time if we're invited back.
For sure. I won't be here, but yes, that's great.
Natalie?
Thank you for your intentional work on that, all of you. It's really been neat to see that we can help more families, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I just wanted to step in and say thank you, not only for being here tonight and the beautiful presentation you did, but this team has done incredible work when they led off with inclusion. And we have seen an incredible growth, not only in regard to special education inclusion from birth to 4, but also in terms of language and culture. I know that you've recently added Somali and Spanish bilingual programming, and that had not been done before. And so really grateful for the ways that as our community has evolved, you are making sure that our early learning does also, and that we are making sure that all of our students are supported to be ready for that kindergarten experience. And then also to Kate, who returned to us from retirement in our moment of desperation of 3 years ago now. She's
Right.
like, oh, I'll do it for you for a year.
Wow.
And here we are 3 years later, and she has assured us that she has to be done now.
Right.
And I can't wring any more years out of her, but just want to
so
say
much.
thank you for coming back and for leading this program, and as a team, Kate and Barika leading this program to new heights, and I could not be more grateful.
And I just want to say, Lori Putnam, I'd be remiss to say that this early childhood program, I came in 3 years ago, but these teachers who have been here from the beginning to a 40-year span, I hope if you ever want to do a thank you card, you do those to this amazing early childhood team, birth to 3 teachers, evaluators, preschool teachers, ECFE teachers. And if I missed anybody, but they are an incredible group of 100 people that each and every day are serving birth to 4-year-olds to make this, and we talk about this with the school board, to make this community 742 one of the best, the brightest, and the healthiest. And I am privileged to have known them and have to say their work has been the work. And I've been privileged to watch it and be part of it. So thank you.
I have one more question.
Okay, next up, we have the American Indian Education Update. And we have Ayan Omar, Executive Services Director, Kip Perkins, American Indian Education Coordinator, Misty Peterson, American Indian Education Cultural Liaison. And then I'm wondering, is it next, after that, we have some other people joining us, correct? I know we're sort of flow into 2 presentations here, so we'll start with them.
Good evening, Chair Haas, Superintendent Putnam, and members of the school board. As required by MDE statute, districts or schools that report to have a minimum of 20 American Indian students based on the October 1st MARS data are eligible to receive funding for the American Indian Education Program, both state and federal. Additionally, such districts must either have an American Indian Parent Advisory Committee, or NAPAC, or be working collaboratively with the Office of American Indian Education to form one. This evening, you will receive an update on our American Indian Education programming and activities affirming the unique cultural identities and history of our American Indian students and their families, ensuring that our staff is equipped with the resources and skills needed to support our students in reaching their full potential.
Per MDE, our American Indian Education Program, with the suggested input from the Native American Parent Advisory Committee, or NAPAC for short, designs programming and instructional activities that affirm the cultural identity of American Indian students and their families. In our Shining Stars celebration in May of 2025, we were gifted with a performance from the Sampson Brothers. They are a Native American hoop dancers, and they also gave an educational presentation to our community, and there's a photo from that celebration. All right, as you know, my name is Kip Perkins, and I served as the American Indian Education Coordinator for the past 3 years. I have a daughter in the district and a son who recently graduated from Apollo last year. A little bit about me, I'm from Panema, Minnesota, which is located on the Red Lake Nation Indian Reservation. And a little bit about this work. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with our NAPAC and support our students. Our program strives to meet the educational and cultural needs of American Indian students. And I look forward to every opportunity to help our students feel empowered, supported, and proud of who they are. And this is my new coworker, Misty Peterson.
Hi. Hello? Okay. Okay, so I'm Misty Peterson. I'm the new American Indian Education and Cultural Liaison. I'm from the Fond du Lac Band of Lake Superior Chippewa Reservation near Cloquet. I began this role in November of last year and bring 5 years of experience specializing in Ojibwe language and culture. My background includes developing culturally focused educational materials and collaborating with tribal elders to preserve oral traditions. And I mainly did this work throughout schools in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Throughout my career, I have remained committed to community service and tribal education, working with students from early Head Start through K-12.
All right. Our data is sourced from the Minnesota Automated Reporting Student System, or MARS for short, and uses federal race codes for identification. Currently, we have 234 students who identify as American Indian, Native American, other Indigenous, or Native Hawaiian. These students, of these students, 109 are enrolled in our elementary schools, and 125 are enrolled in our secondary schools. But these numbers do not include pre-K enrollment. We also track the enrollment using 506 Federal American Indian Form to ensure appropriate funding and support. The 506 form identifies a student's tribal affiliation and determines eligibility for certain federal and educational programs. This information helps us understand and document tribal representation within our district. The 506 forms are required for participation in the Title VI Indian Education Formula Grant Program, which is funded based on the numbers of completed 506 forms on file. All submitted forms are confidential.
And elementary programming. In our elementary schools, we prioritize early engagement and culturally responsive support. Tulahi, Lincoln, and Madison serve the highest number of American Indian students. As a result, I facilitate weekly lunch groups at those sites. These groups include activities such as Ojibwe language games and craft circles to strengthen cultural connection and build community. In addition, I conduct one-on-one check-ins with students at other elementary schools to ensure their academic, cultural, and social-emotional needs are being met. To further support staff and students, we have developed an internal website for teachers that features recordings of books in the Ojibwe and Navajo languages, making it easier to integrate Native languages and culture into daily classroom instruction. I also assist schools with language-related needs, including reading books, providing translations, and sharing culturally relevant resources.
All right, secondary programming. For our secondary students, we place a strong emphasis on post-secondary pathways. This includes upcoming college visits to St. Cloud State University and manufacturing tours that allow students to explore a variety of career options. To support academic success, we are in the process of establishing contracted tutors through SCSU, St. Ben's, St. John's, and we create cultural spaces for students through weekly smudging and beading groups, providing opportunities for connection and community. Last Thursday, we hosted a financial aid assistance session at Apollo High School with Laura Gerardson, an outreach liaison for the Minnesota Indian Scholarship Program through the Minnesota Office of Higher Education. Laura delivers financial aid presentations to high school students across the state. She provides guidance on applying for grants and scholarships specifically available to American Indian students. And she will be returning to St. Cloud on April 14th to present again at St. Cloud Tech. All right, next up is the community graduation honoring. We are proud to share that 75% of our American Indian seniors graduated in 2025. And for the class of 2026, we are currently seeing strong progress, including a projected 100% graduation rate at Apollo. Our graduation honoring ceremony this year will take place on May 7th, 2026. We are collaborating with St. Cloud State, St. Cloud Tech and Community College, the College of St. Ben's, and St. John's University to bring the Native community together and share a celebration honoring with our local graduates. Current graduation tracking for 2026 is, like I said, 100% at Apollo, 75% at Tech, with one student getting their GED, and 50% at McKinley. All right, Indigenous Peoples Day. Minnesota law requires public schools to observe Indigenous Peoples Day the second Monday in October by providing at least 1 hour of instruction or programming on the topic. In collaboration with building leaderships, we delivered classroom lessons and experiences focused on Indigenous history, culture, contributions to ensure both compliance with the law and meaningful implementation. At South Junior High, we were proud to host Joe Big Bear and his grandson for an all-school assembly. Across other schools, students engaged in lessons, activities designed to recognize and celebrate Indigenous communities. Oh, that's me again. Oh yeah, so it's me again. The powwow in 2025, and that's a Dakota word. I don't know how to pronounce Dakota words. So yeah, I'll just call it the powwow. St. Cloud was a community centered cultural event celebrating Indigenous traditions, identity, and resilience through song, dance, and drumming and storytelling. The powwow created a welcoming space for Native students, families, and the broader community to come together in celebration and learning. The powwow reflected a collaborative partnership among St. Cloud Area School District 742, Sartell St. Stephen School District, St. Cloud State University, St. Cloud Technical College and Community College, and the College of St. Ben's and St. John's University. Together, these partners supported student participation, cultural learning, and community connection, demonstrating a shared commitment to honoring Indigenous culture across educational systems. All right, the Minnesota Indian Education Association Conference provides a unique opportunity for educators, community members, and tribal leaders to come together to strengthen education for Native students. The conference focuses on culturally responsive teaching, Indigenous perspectives, and strategies to close achievement gaps. Participants gain access to workshops, keynote speakers, and networking opportunities that highlight best practices, celebrate Native culture, and foster collaboration across schools and communities. It also helps educators stay informed about policy developments, innovative programs, and resources that support student success while honoring tribal heritage and identity. This year, the conference will be held in Shakopee, and with the goal of offering district staff the opportunity to participate. Additional details will be shared soon. All right, professional staff professional development. On January 20th, Misty and I offered a Choices Day option for K-12 teachers to participate in a professional development session on Ojibwe language and culture in education, exploring strategies for integrating Ojibwe language and culture in the classroom instruction. And in addition, we offer as a self-paced professional development with Anton Troyer, incorporating Ojibwe into the classroom, which provides practical strategies for bringing Ojibwe language and culture into teaching. We are also developing an internal American Indian site that will provide year-round resources for staff, learning, and professional growth. The site will feature teaching chunks, videos, and additional educational materials. Currently, staff have access to over 135 titles, covering a wide range of topics to support American Indian students, allowing for self-directed exploration and learning throughout the year.
So we wanted to share and practice some Ojibwe words with you guys. So we're going to learn the seasons in Ojibwe. In Ojibwe culture, the seasons are deeply connected to the land, community responsibilities, and ways of living. These seasons are more than weather changes. They reflect a relationship with the land and community responsibilities that continue to guide Anishinaabe life today. So I'll say the word first, and then you guys repeat after me. So spring is Zigwan. Zigwan, perfect. This is the season of renewal and new life. Summer is Niben. Niben, yeah. This is the season of growth. Gardens flourish, berries ripen, and communities gather. Fall is the Gwagan. The Gwagan. Yeah. This is the season of harvest. People prepare for winter by gathering food, specifically wild rice, and preserving what the land has provided. Winter is Biboon. Yeah. This is a season of rest and storytelling. Traditional winter was time for teaching, sharing stories, and strengthening family and community bonds. So our stories can only be told when there is snow on the ground.
All right, upcoming events. We have several upcoming events for American Indian students and families. On Saturday, February 21st, we will host our winter storytelling event where students and families can experience traditional stories shared by Devery Fairbanks. And Devery is from the White Earth Reservation. He's an educator, administrator, faculty, father, grandfather, and has been listening to stories since the 1960s. The following week on Saturday, February 28th, at Apollo High School, we will welcome Native families from across the state to participate in a round dance, an important cultural tradition. On Saturday, March 7th, we will offer Native American drum making workshop, providing a hands-on opportunity to create traditional drums and learning about their culture, cultural significance. In addition, additional events are also in the works, including Dakota and Ojibwe Skywatchers, nature walks, in-school beading and sewing circles, and Ojibwe language sessions for elementary students. Stay tuned for registration details and details and updates on these exciting cultural activities.
We have a video that captures much of the work in action.
Welcome to the St. Cloud Area School District, where everyone's journey, including culture, identity, and academic success, is valued. The American Indian Education Program is one important piece of that vision, helping students feel empowered, supported, and proud of who they are. Today we're highlighting the American Indian Education Program, which celebrates culture, supports learning, and strengthens community. I'm Kip Perkins, the Indian Education Coordinator.
And I am Misty Peterson, American Indian Education and Cultural Liaison. The American Indian Education Program is designed to support the educational and cultural needs of American Indian students. Our ultimate goal is to help students thrive academically, complete high school, and prepare for future opportunities beyond graduation.
A key focus of the program is enhancing cultural awareness and celebrating the heritage of American Indian and Native students. Through community events, cultural field trips, and engagement opportunities, students learn more about the contributions of their ancestors and contemporary Native communities.
Our program offers a variety of free supportive services for students and families, including cultural enrichment classes, seasonal cultural events for families, tutoring, college visits and educational field trips, post-secondary planning and guidance, and support during parent-teacher and IEP meetings upon request.
Our Native American parents and caregivers are key partners in this work. Through our partnership with the Native American Parent Advisory Committee, our NAPAC, caregiver voices are centered in the development of educational services and cultural events for both students and their families. One of the key activities offered at the high school is smudging, a traditional practice rooted in many Native American cultures. Smudging involves the burning of medicines such as sage, sweetgrass, cedar, or tobacco to create smoke that is used for spiritual cleansing, prayer, and reflection. The practice is often used to promote balance, healing, mindfulness, and a sense of connection to oneself, the community, and the natural world. In school settings, smudging is offered respectfully, voluntarily, and culturally informed, often guided by Indigenous knowledge keepers or trained staff to support student well-being and cultural awareness.
At the elementary level, students are given dedicated time each week to build relationships and connect with me through Ojibwe cultural and language games. These games introduce students to Ojibwe values, traditions, and ways of learning through hands-on movement. Games may include traditional games such as hoop and stick games, snow snakes, lacrosse, and cooperative team challenges that emphasize respect, perseverance, listening, and community. Through play, students learn cultural teachings, practice teamwork, and strengthen their connection to Ojibwe identity in a fun and meaningful way.
What I'd like to do is do classes with the students, get them to learn how to make the instruments that we do, drumsticks, drums, hand drums, and also do more classes that like drum and dance, where you learn how to sing, learn how to use the instruments, and then hopefully get someone in here to do like dance classes for people that do want to dance.
In an effort to ensure American Indian students reach their full potential within their school communities through meaningful, equitable, and targeted educational experiences that affirm and value their unique cultural identities, we established a collaborative partnership sponsored by St. Cloud Area School District 742, St. Cloud State University, St. Cloud Technical and Community College, the College of St. Benedict and St. John's University, and Sartell St. Stephen's School District. By working together across K through 12 and higher education systems, we are intentionally building community for American Indian students and their families, especially those new to the area, fostering a sense of belonging, continuity, and shared responsibility for student success.
Anything that we can do to have every student feel like they have a place and a voice in our community impacts their attendance, their emotional state, it impacts their academics 100%.
I think it's a really great program. It helps me feel a little less alone, even though I know there's not many Navajos up here in Minnesota. I feel like, you know, I get to meet a lot more other natives, people who have maybe had the same struggles as me being native or the same experiences.
It's important that they have the access because we want them to value their culture and where they come from and know that we also value their time here and what they can bring to our community.
We are 742.
All right, thank you, everyone. We will take questions.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments? Scott?
You've mentioned some events that are coming up. Indian graduation, you said, was May 7th. Where is that at?
We haven't nailed down the site yet, but we'll be meeting early next week for discuss further where it will be.
When and where is the next powwow?
We haven't planned that either. It's usually in the fall, and it takes the partnership discussion to determine time and location.
You mentioned a round dance at Apollo on the 28th. I think that's a Friday.
Oh, that
Saturday.
That's a Saturday.
So one of the feedbacks we received from our families is some more weekend events because the evening doesn't always work. And those events are specific to our American Indian students and their families.
Okay, so some of these are not open to the public.
Correct.
Which ones are open and which ones aren't? The round dance, no?
All of them, we were hoping to use this opportunity to share it with our families who could be watching online, but all the events are specific to our American Indian students. The powwow is one that is open to the public.
Okay, and the graduation.
And the graduation honoring. Yep. Staff and the board members are definitely invited. And one of the feedbacks we got from last year is not to put it on a Wednesday on a board night. So this year it's a Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Heather?
And this might be, and I know Jason's not here, but Lori, maybe can you talk a little bit about, and I'm just thinking, I was actually thinking of lacrosse because I know lacrosse has a native history, but even like with the drumming activities and those sorts of things, how are those embedded into curriculum for all students? Are there conversations embedded, or could there be related to some of the extracurriculars, but as kids take music classes and those sorts of things, is there an attempt within the curriculum to try and expand just general knowledge of some of the Native American foundational sorts of activities?
I know our Minnesota State Standards is very inclusive of American Indian education through literature, through social studies, and I've worked with some of our music teachers and choir teachers who are also looking to expand opportunities to include drumming and cultural activities that are specific to our Native American students. But the standards is definitely inclusive of our American Indian education program.
And just one more comment. I really liked the seasons, and I like that winter is storytelling, and we should not be active. We should be storytelling and resting. We would be smart to take advantage of some of their recommendations.
Okay, Kip, then do you want to roll us into the second part of the presentation?
Yes,
And
I will actually do
Okay,
that.
and introduce our guests.
Yes, I will do that, and then I will invite our guests to come on up, and Misty and Kip and I will be sitting very near. A vital component of our program is the Native American Parent Advisory Committee. In accordance to Minnesota State statute, any district with 10 or more students is required to establish a Parent Advisory Committee. Our local board specifically chose the term Native American rather than MDE's assigned American Indian. Phrasing to ensure all Indigenous families feel included and represented. NAPAC is led by Chair Cora Shenander, Vice Chair Lindsay Teller, Secretary Melissa Hager, and Treasurer Ian Shenander. It meets at least twice per trimester with a consistent attendance of about 8 to 10 families and students. The committee serves a dual role, making recommendations to ensure district goals align with real needs of families and completing the annual resolution of concurrence, non-concurrence. Formally indicating whether the district is meeting the needs of American Indian students. Their partnership allows us engagement and to continue evolving and doing better. And we're deeply grateful for their volunteer leadership. And helping us with the presentation, I will invite Cora, Ian, and Lindsay.
All right. Thank you all. It's nice to be up here speaking. It's a little bizarre. I'm usually here as a parent watching people from a distance. So my name is Cora Shenander. I am Hopi, and we also have Cherokee in my household as well. So just a little background info about that. First and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge past work that the district has done to become more inclusive. It's been very interesting to be in the district the last few years and just kind of see how you guys have made a lot of different changes, a lot of positive things that have been happening. So it's been interesting watching you guys grow. Stepping into this role for me has been a very big eye-opener, kind of all the way around, truthfully. That being said, I believe that we are all here for similar goals and intentions to help empower our students and help them succeed. And we appreciate the district's core principle has always been clarity, and we as NAPAC are committed to carrying that forward in what we do together. So.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Teller, and I am with the Grand Portage tribe in Minnesota, and I also have Menominee blood in me, also from Wisconsin. I have 2 kids in the district and a nephew in the district also. I just wanted to talk. About the current situation. We have 2 people who work between 13 schools, 14 different places total, to assist students and families, and that's about 234 students. With these 2 positions, they're expected to manage about 100 each, more than 100 each. And the balance, even though we added a second person, the balance has not shifted enough for these individuals to meet with students consistently enough to contribute to the expected level.
My name is Ian. I am Hopi. I am the treasurer, as introduced earlier. I have a statement to make before we go into the recommendations. During my time in this role, I have been faced with numerous difficulties, showing me that I need to be here to create positive change. With the sheer level of difficulties that I have faced, this does not feel like simple representation serving my peers and future students. This feels like fighting a war for them. I have not given up despite this adversity, and I will not give up on our students. I will see to it that this district fights alongside me for our Native students. We as NAPAC have been deprived of necessary information. When deprived of this information, our ability to serve our students dwindles, and we prove to our Native students and families that the days of bereaving us of our culture and resources is not ancient history. We voted as NAPAC a vote of non-concurrence. That being said, here are our recommendations. We have 3 types of recommendations for St. Cloud Public School District. Recommendations are categorized as the following: compliance recommendations, staff recommendations, and academic recommendations. With the compliance recommendations, we recommend that District 742 comply with state statutes and afford NAPAC/APAC the necessary information it needs to best serve its students and the families they represent. The American Indian Parent Advisory Committee must develop its recommendations in consultation with the Curriculum Advisory Committee required by 120B.11 Subdivision 3. This committee must afford the parents the necessary information, an opportunity to effectively express their views concerning all aspects of American Indian education and the educational needs of American Indian children enrolled in the school or program. That is pulled from Minnesota State Statute 124D.78 Subdivision 1. NAPAC has not been afforded the necessary information by the district. Some examples of necessary information can be pulled from page 3 of the American Indian Education Aid Program Guidance. This information includes, but is not limited to, testing data, attendance data, graduation rates, funding balances, expended amounts of aid, and accurate student count information. APAC should be aware of all funding streams that support American Indian students. Moving into our staff recommendations. NAPAC recommends an increase in American Indian education staff, a change in the chain of command with it, and an adjustment in the roles and responsibilities of that chain. NAPAC recommends that the number of American Indian education staff serving all Native American students and families in District 742 be increased to 3 at minimum to ensure all Indian Ed correlated work gets complete. We must have new positions, a leadership position for Indian education. We must have a leader for the Indian education group and 2 liaison positions underneath. The leader of the Indian education group would receive information from the liaisons and handle other Indian Ed administrative tasks. Liaison positions would be titled Cultural Liaison and Educational Liaison. The liaison duties are to assist and support students, whether culturally or academically, interacting with them on a consistent basis and provide mentorship to the students. Educational liaisons' primary focus should be on student success in academics, while the cultural liaison is to supplement their education, enriching the minds of the students. What does this look like in action? Instead of having both the educational and cultural liaisons overlapping in their roles and focusing on the same student groups, we should have the cultural liaison work specifically with students on cultural matters from elementary through 12th grade, and likewise have the education liaison support students and families from elementary through 12th grade as well to eliminate any overlap. Implementing this ensures that we will have a consistent person for families to reach out to and connect with our students, and allows for our Indian Ed coordinator to coordinate meetings with NAPAC. Our academic recommendations. NAPAC recommends that our Native American students receive tutoring and get academic incentives for their success. Our Native American students' average scores have been considerably low. To combat this, we would like to use funds given by the state and federal government for NAPAC to use to address this academic inequity. We would like all of our Native American students who are not already receiving tutoring or other academic assistance to be receiving this assistance. Secondly, NAPAC has voted for academic incentives to come into effect for all Native American students who are passing their classes or on the honor roll. Students are to receive beadwork or a smudging kit as their academic incentive. All items listed in the academic recommendations are listed as approved expenditures. This information is detailed in the American Indian Education Aid Program guidance.
We appreciate your patience in listening to some of that. I realize that it is probably more involved than previous meetings where NAPAC has addressed the board. That being said, given recent circumstances, we felt the need to go into detail just so that we are all on the same page in regards to that. Are there any questions?
Okay. Comment? Yeah.
Coral, Lindsay, and Ian, thank you for your presentation. I'm the chair of the Achievement, Integration, and Equity Committee, and I appreciate your presentation tonight, and we know our work as a district continues. So our next work is to, when compliance with the law, is to fulfill our role and to write a letter acknowledging our non-concurrence that will be due within 60 days, but know that our work as a district continues. So thank you for your presentation tonight. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. I know it's, I used to, before I had this role, I'd have to come and present to the board. And if you're anything like me, I was always terrified. So that you are willing to be here and on behalf of our students, our families, our Native community, just know that that is deeply appreciated and your recommendations will be considered in full. And I appreciate the work of Ayan, Kip, and Misty in helping us lead this work forward in partnership with our NAPAC. So thank you very much for the details that's actually super helpful. And please know that we will take them to heart and will respond. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have another discussion item tonight. We have the 2026 through 2029 Achievement Integration Plan goals presented by Ayan Omar, Executive or Equity Services Director.
Awesome. Thank you. It looks like it's the Ion show today, so this is good. Good evening, Chair Haas, Superintendent Putnam, and members of the school board. This evening, I will share with you our 2026 through 2029 achievement and integration goals. We are in our final year of the last 3 years goal, and I think in December we presented where we ended end of 2025 on those goals. Just remind everyone that the key purpose and objectives of our A&I plan is really to pursue integration, increase achievement, create equitable opportunities, continuously transform staff development, and provide targeted student supports. And we do this through 3-year plans that target specific, measurable, and student-centered goals with strategies that are developed as a district and in partnership with our leaders. I'd like to first point out that our Multi-District Collaboration Council, MDCC, continues to be a huge component of our A&I plan. Our adjoining district includes Annandale, Foley, Becker, Holdingford, Rocori, Sauk Rapids, Rice, Monticello, Big Lake, and Kimball. One of the activities that we are looking forward to are Discovery Friends. They're going that are attending a kindness retreat with our Rocori as a way of improving and continuing this effort around the MDCC to identify shared goals and strategies to increase racial and economic integration across districts. MDCC serves as a requirement. It's community-based, it's collaborative, and it helps shape local A&I strategies. Kindness Retreat, career and technical exploration is another area we're hoping to collaborate with our Sauk Rapids neighbors as well as Monticello and continuously looking at ways to partner and collaborate. Now we'll move into the 3 goals. We have 4 goals. The first one focuses on the achievement goal, which is around our graduation. We will continue with our graduation rates for students who identify as Black, Hispanic, American Indian, or 2 or more races to reach 85% by May 2029. And we have identified key strategies that helps us support. One being our district-wide language access plan, ensuring that we have language support for our families and make sure that both instruction as well as communication is accessible in home language. We have credit recovery during the day, really removing the transportation barrier for a lot of our families who face those barriers in the evening. We have our DELT, Educational Equity Outreach Coordinators over at the secondary level. Have been super supportive in collaborating with United Way and other initiatives to help improve the academic success of our students so that they're able to reach their full potential in graduating. Family Access and Community Liaison, Tiffany Daniels does an amazing job planning field trips that promote pathways to career and college readiness, which includes the manufacturing tour. BAR is another one, building assets, reducing risk, that we hope that we continue to use in helping us improve our overall graduation goals for these identified students. Our goal 2 also focuses on achievement, proficiency, and early literacy, really continuing to hone in on the 3rd grade MCA reading proficiency rate for the same group of students, for our Black non-EL students, American Indian, Hispanic, and 2 or more races with the goal of reaching 50% by 2029. And we've also identified key strategies that will help us reach this goal, including partnership with our early childhood friends, really looking at early intervention, school readiness and academic focus, looking at those transitional years into kindergarten and from 5th grade into 6th grade, really working with our educational outreach coordinators at the elementary level to help support this with our family advocates, and continuing our caregiver and family groups as a way of promoting literacy in the home. Our goal 3 focuses on integration, really looking at the representations of students of color in dual enrollment. And dual enrollment is defined as courses that include AP, college and schools, PSEO for students in grades 9 through 12. Really looking at going from 11% to 25% by the end of May 2029. And we have identified a position, our middle level TDAS family advocate. Monty does an amazing work at the middle level of just catching our students who are high achieving, but tend to drop off at that middle school age, really sharing with our families the benefits of dual enrollment as they look into what lies ahead for them at the high school level. We provide student leadership and mentoring opportunities at the middle and the high school levels, school readiness again, and continuing BAR at that middle level as well to help increase our students' involvement in their school communities. Our final goal looks at diverse teacher workforce. Really, this is a goal that we've met from the last 3 years and looking ways to build on that, go from 8.5% to 9.5% by May 2029, and focusing on that recruitment and the retention in our district affinity spaces for BIPOC and LGBTQI+, and allies, and just finding creative ways to connect with our teachers of color so that they stay in our community for our students. Again, this is not an isolated plan. It works cohesively and in collaboration with all the other comprehensive achievement and civic readiness, our strategic plan, and our A&I plan work together. And there are people behind these plans that help support these efforts and really focusing on how do we attain safety, belonging, collaboration, and excellence in pursuit of these goals for the next 3 years. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Ayan? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Okay, then we have one action item tonight. We have the approval of tentative agreements. We have the para-educators contract, and joining us for this is Amy Scalarud. We'll be presenting this contract for the 2025 through 2027 year. So Amy, thanks for stepping up and doing this one.
No problem. Good evening, Chair Haas, Superintendent Putnam. So we, again, have the one contract on the agenda tonight, the paraeducators contract. This unit represents just under 285 FTE, which is approximately 341 employees, since a lot of these positions are not full-time 8-hour per day positions. Year one, there is new starting rates established for each classification in the unit. We have 3 different classifications in this unit. Support paraeducators, new starting rate is $16.75. Instructional paraeducators, $18.75. And then advanced paraeducators, which are at our level 4 facilities, our special education leads, and our behavior instruction paras, new starting rate $20.75. All other employees who are eligible for an increase above the new starting rates would receive a 3% increase. To be eligible for that, you have to have started by January 1st of 2025 based on the contract language. There are also increases in longevity that you can see at all except for the 3-year increment. Those are on the summary in front of you. And then as with previous contracts, we had health insurance changes. Those are consistent across all of our groups. In the first year, there was an increase in the single insurance contribution as well as those EME caps that we put in place. And then again, consistent with other groups, the addition of the paid family leave 0.44% contribution effective January 1st. In year 2, again, we have increases to those starting rates by 25 cents in each of those categories. All employees who will have been here by 1/1 of this current year, 2026, will be eligible for a 2% increase. Again, if you weren't here by that starting date and you're at those entry rates, you would go to the new starting rates. And then the only other change in the paraeducator contract for next year is changes to insurance, again, consistent across groups. $660 for the single insurance contribution and $1,193 for family. That then aligns that family contribution across all units that we've been aiming for the last how many years? Total 2-year cost of this package is 6.09%.
Okay. Any questions at all? This is an action item, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the paraeducators contract for 2025 through 2027.
So moved.
I have a motion by Diana, a second by Natalie. Go ahead and Heather, call vote.
Heather Weems, yes. Shannon Haas?
Yes.
Diana Fenton?
Yes.
Zach Dorholt? Natalie Copeland?
Yes.
Scott Andresen?
Yes.
Gina Acevedo?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Amy. Moving along then, we have next up is the superintendent's report by our superintendent, Dr. Lori Putnam.
Thank you so much, Chair Haas, members. Oh,
I would like to ask Amy how things are working out on the paid family leave applications. It started January 1st.
Can we get back to you on that because she does, that's probably more of a Tracy question.
And really, they don't go through us, they go through the state. So we're
I know.
really very minimally involved with the application process at all.
Okay.
Yeah. But if
Okay.
it's like numbers of people who applied, that would all be Tracy. So, but we can get back to you, we can let her know.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, go ahead.
thank you so much, Chair Haas, members of the board. Tonight, there is so much to celebrate as it is postseason time for many of our sports and activities, and many of our teams are headed to state and even national tournaments. We have 19 robotics teams competing at nationals, even at the elementary level. As we speak, and I have not gotten an update, Crush Girls Hockey is playing at the state tournament in St. Paul versus Breck. Do you have an update? Oh. But they made it, and it's the first time the girls hockey has ever gone to a state tournament. So we are very, very proud of them. In addition, we have state music competitions, both vocal and instrumental, 2 competing at state and gymnastics, and so much more. There's a music listening competition going on as well. I can't even, honestly, we just can't even name, it's so much success, and really just proud of our students and our advisors. And I'm also happy to share with you that Donna Roper, who is our Director of Research, Assessment, and Generative AI Integration, has been named the Minnesota Outstanding Central Office Leader by MASA, the Minnesota Association of School Administrators. This award recognizes a leader who is willing to take risks and be a progressive change agent, setting high expectations for herself and others, which certainly defines Donna. I know I probably don't have to tell you that how deserving she is, but I do have to say how grateful I am for the work that she does here and across our state. Congratulations to Donna. And I also want to shout out with great pride, we have 2 semifinalists for the Minnesota Teacher of the Year, Devin Bowker, an extraordinary science teacher at Apollo High School, and Paige Janorski, an amazing 4th grade teacher at Lincoln. And we hope that they are able to progress on to the finals, but regardless of the outcome, our heartfelt thanks and appreciation go to them. And finally, I want to congratulate Paul Bates, who is named to the Minnesota Tennis Coaches Hall of Fame. Paul is a longstanding teacher and coach for our district, and again, so deserving of these accolades, and we are very proud to see him join that famous wall of exceptional coaches.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a Board of Education Standing Committee reports. I think we have a few tonight. Achievement, Integration, Equity, Board Committee Chair Diana Fenton.
Thank you, Chair Haas, Superintendent Putnam, and members of the board. The Achievement, Integration, and Equity Committee met this morning. Two things that were covered this morning. Ayan Omar and Misty Peterson presented the yearly review on the American Indian Education Program, and we learned tonight at the board meeting about the NAPACS review. The board will now prepare a letter required to address the NAPACS non-concurrence vote. The second thing that was covered at this morning's meeting was the special education update produced and provided by Danny Mayer. This information will actually be presented at the board meeting in March.
Thank you. And then we have Finance Audit Board Committee Chair Heather Weems.
Yes, the Board Finance Committee met on February 9th. We discussed the multipurpose athletic facility joint purchasing contracts, which were actually on the consent agenda. There are two work scopes for the project that will be purchased through joint purchasing contracts. These work scopes are for the turf field and the permanently affixed athletic equipment, which includes batting cages, divider curtain, and perimeter netting. Amy discussed the turf options that were reviewed and why Sprint Turf was selected. This is the same product that was installed on the Apollo Outdoor Stadium a few years ago. These contracts are on, as I said, were on the consent agenda earlier. The Apollo project budget update and timeline. Amy reviewed a handout listing the referendum projects and upcoming dates. She also reviewed the budget for the Apollo project, which includes portions that are funded out of remaining funds from the Apollo LTFM bonds issued a few years ago, which can only be used at Apollo, as well as food service fund balance. The multipurpose athletic facility exterior signage. Amy shared pictures of proposed exterior signage for the new multipurpose athletic facility to include both the Apex logo and the district logo on the north side by the main entrance, as well as the south side on Veterans Drive. There was also discussion about possibly adding signage on the west and east sides, although the committee generally thought it not necessary. A final recommendation, along with a discussion on interior signage, will be brought back at a future meeting. And then finally, our April Finance Committee meeting, we agreed to change the April 6th meeting from 2 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Okay. And then Personnel Negotiations Board Committee Chair Natalie Copeland.
Thank you, Chair Haas. We met on February 17th and talked about a couple things. One was the 26-27 staffing timelines. The administration reviewed the annual staffing timelines for the 26-27 school year. We also talked about administrative structure. Superintendent Putnam provided an overview of expected staffing for administrative positions looking into 26 and 27. We also talked about a business services consultation that's coming up. The administration presented a plan to engage a consultant to conduct a review and audit of the structure and workflow in the business services department to facilitate improvements in efficiency and collaboration in the wake of many retirements and position changes in the course of the past several years. And then finally, we discussed executive contracts. The committee reviewed the superintendent's recommendation for changes in the pay and benefit structure for the 26-27 executive contracts. The committee discussed the contract changes presented and recommends them to the full board for approval, and that'll come on March 11th. And that is all.
Thank you. All right, and then we have future agenda items. The March 11th board meeting and work session topics will include boys volleyball co-op, approval of the 2026 through 2029 Achievement Integration Plan goals, approval of tentative contracts, tentative agreements, special education update, and some policy readings. At this time, does any board member wish to suggest a future agenda item? Okay, that was everything on tonight's agenda, so looking for a motion to adjourn tonight's board meeting. I have a motion by Natalie, a second by Heather. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned, 8:01 p.m. Thanks for watching.
Didn't last till 9, isn't that good? Oh, we went through this one. We got through this one. Yep.